I wish, I keep trying to repeat that, the parents are proactive. Instead of like using the scare tactics like, don't let the guy touch you, be careful with the girls that you touch. And they should go deeply into explaining why. They just tell you don't, but they don't tell you why. And when there's when, you're on your own. Then they castigate you. So the scare tactics that they use, which I think somebody could have actually, tell me not just only don't, please tell me why. And even when there's when, please support me so that I can be able to make the right decision. But I think if I've been educated earlier on by my close foes, parents, that would probably have helped me a lot.
The scare tactics that they put into sex education actually plays into people getting drunk before they have sex for the first time because they want to be more comfortable.
Loosen up.
It's really like that's not the right way to go about it. You should be, well informed.
The girls that I know, a lot of them did it to get it over with, and I think that's really wrong. Like a lot of girls weren't doing it to for the fun of it. They were doing it to be like, I got my virginity. My virginity's gone.
I wish more parents and more authority figures in school explained to boys and girls sex and respect. I wish more girls
and responsibility.
I wish more girls respected themselves, and I wish more guys didn't feel like it was a need to have sex. And even though that's a stereotype, it's a stereotype because it's true.
Yeah.
And I think more guys are determined to have sex not because it's in their genes, but because it's what the media has exposed to them.
I guess I wish somebody said,
there's sort of
do it because you want to.
Yeah, exactly. There's an overriding principle of do what a general fundamental of life is do what feels best and what feels right. And people love telling you that about a lot of things, where you go to school.
Well,
and
also,
there's a lot of do what feels right. But at the same time, here's this one construct.
You find yourself convincing yourself that this is the right time, and that's not what it is. It's you need to be going, I think I want to do this. Okay, I'm going to do this on your own, and not having a friend in the back of your mind be like, you want to, or the media, for that matter, being like sex is the right time. This is the right time. How old are you?
Just think about it. Don't ruin it. Don't make it mathematical or logical, but just be like, yeah, I think I'm ready to commit myself mentally, emotionally, and physically to
financially.
You. Thank you for supporting me, Addie.
I do support you, Katie.
From my experience, and I think for a lot of kids' experience back then, and unfortunately my fear is for too many kids even still today, if they get any education about sex, sexuality, relationships, healthy living, it's still treated as this sort of odd subject that has no connection to the rest of your life.
No, we did not have sex ed at school. And if we did, it was so minuscule I've completely forgotten it, but I don't think we did. Pretty sure we didn't. We had junior rifle club, but we didn't have sex ed.
Sex educational class, which was funny, to say the least. We learned nothing. We saw a penis and a vagina, and that was it. There was no real, what I would consider education, or real talk, about having sex or being with somebody.
From a relatively young age, I knew about how people had sex, and that was how babies were made. But I can't recall really ever having a conversation with either one of my parents that had to do with how I felt about my body, or how I felt about boys' bodies, or how I felt about the possibility of sex and what that was going to do for me on an emotional level. I don't remember those conversations at all.
The other thing is, you're with these guys, they don't know either. They have to pretend they know. But they are probably, in some ways, even have less information. All they know that they're supposed to do something.
At first, you don't know, but actually you do. And that you'll figure it out, and that's okay. And it's okay if it's kind of awkward at first, but you do figure it out.
I think it needs to be more of a relaxed topic, something that's talked about more often, so it's more comfortable.
I just think it is that our folks just didn't talk to us about it.
Yeah.
They left it up to the school, And so if
friends.
you didn't get it in school, yeah, you got it from a friend or you got it from trial and error.
Parents don't, they really hope that the schools will take care of that and that your friends will take care of that and that you'll just figure it out, that kind of thing. That's a scary way to learn about it.
I was 19, I was a freshman in college and came home from vacation and my girlfriend was pregnant. I didn't know how to use a condom. It was never discussed. And so we were faced with, what do you do? No education from the parents. It's, what are you going to do?
We should be, as parents, willing to accept that there's going to be experimentation and want our kids to experiment safely, I guess.
Parents should really talk to their kids more and just be open about it.
I wish somebody had told me how to talk to your kids about sex.
I would tell parents to pretend you're talking to yourself when you're 16 or 13 or whatever else.
And also remind them that they had, not had, but like either are having or had sex at one point in their life and it was really meaningful and is really meaningful, and they need to take that stance and say, okay, this is a huge thing and I need to respect that and be as helpful but non-intrusive as possible.
I wish someone had told me that sex is a healthy part of a complete relationship. I wish someone had been able to help me understand all the components of a healthy relationship and then learn about each one individually at my own pace, on my own time, but going to people when I needed them.
Well, what's more important is the relationship, like the bonds that you have, like that friendship. And if you have a strong bond with that person, then sex doesn't always matter so much. It can make things like that much better. But if you don't have a solid foundation with the person and you're having sex, it just confuses matters. So, yeah.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
I mean, it can strengthen a good relationship if you have that already existing, but it's not going to make a mediocre relationship better.
What people are really after is close human contact without any barriers. And sometimes that involves sex, and lots of times it doesn't. And I think that's a conversation that everybody needs to have, because then the pressure wouldn't be on sex so much. Then that would be, as somebody once said to me, a lovely thing to do with another person if everything else is going well. And the everything else is, you've really got closeness first. Then have sex because it's a nice, lovely thing to do with another person, but everything else has got to be working in a good way.
It's different for every individual, that there's no right way to enter into intimacy, and it really is about listening to yourself and to your own heart and to your own way, and that it's a process and it takes time, and it even takes time with that one person, and it depends on the person, so, and again, there's sometimes, as you said, sometimes it's not about intimacy, depending upon the connection that's happening between two people. But when it is about intimacy, it's a process. And it's about building trust, and because you're opening yourself up and exposing yourself, and so it has to be right for you and go. And I know I don't want it to sound trite, that begins to sound like the things we always say, but it's about opening yourself up, and that's an okay thing to have happen.